Is there work that you have done which you felt at the time and in retrospect was worthwhile?
Only writing. Only writing. There's nothing else that I've done that I would take the slightest... I mean, obviously, at times one would have been more effective in this than in that, you know. Or one might have pleased people more in this than in that. But the only thing that I feel in any way satisfied about is to do with writing or speaking. In other words, using words, expressing oneself, trying to say something effectively, truthfully, and even elegantly.
You've been quite rude about a number of places and people you've worked for.
Yes.
Here's Alan Brien's interpretation of why you behave like that.
I don't object to malice. I should be the last person, or as long as you're still alive, the second last person to object to it. But what does worry me about you is that I think you are a born defector. I won't say that you mess on your own doorstep, but not at least until you've moved. And once you've moved, you go round and throw stones through the windows and set fire to the basement. You worked for the Manchester Guardian, and you've never ceased to abuse it. You went to the Soviet Union at the height of the famine, expecting a socialist paradise, and you didn't find it. But you have no sympathy for anybody else who was similarly misled. One of your great friends was Kingsley Martin, and you read some of the best things that you've ever written in his magazine, The New Statesman. And yet, some of your most brutal anecdotes, he is the butt of them. And you never stop saying how gullible the New Statesmen are on the left. You were an outstanding editor of Punch, and you've hated it ever since. You made a tremendous international reputation on television, and yet now you tell us that it's a toy for illiterates, it's an idiot's lantern. You've had, as I understand it, a very varied and active sex life. But now you tell us that the very act itself is appalling and ludicrous and degrading. Now, what I would like to see at the age of 71 is that you should join the Roman Catholic Church. They could hardly make you less than a cardinal, and in at the most 10 years, around the age of 80, I prophesy that you would leave it in a spectacular blaze of publicity and denounce it as a laughable and farcical and dangerous institution.
What's your comment on that?
I think it's very good indeed.
Very true, do you mean?
Extraordinarily true. But I think that Alan misunderstands why it happens. He thinks that it's merely kicking in the teeth people that have been kind to you or institutions in which you work. It isn't that. It's a deep sense of dissatisfaction, truly a deep sense of dissatisfaction with everything one's done and with everything that one's been associated with. And his exception of the Roman Catholic Church is rather interesting, because one of the reasons why, though I love the Roman Catholic Church, when I'm with particularly poor Roman Catholics, I feel sublimely happy. But I wouldn't join it, partly because of the truth of what he says. I admit to the fault, and I think Alan puts it quite very flatteringly, as a matter of fact, because it's not true that I was a particularly good editor of Punch. But the point that he makes is true, that it is, I cannot ever find any satisfaction in anything on earth, and therefore I am driven relentlessly to conclude, with quite a number of other people in the past at any rate, that the only satisfaction that exists for man is in terms of the transcendental.